is a TaxiPhote. It's a mechanical device to display stereoscopic images from slides. So these are glass slides. They're fairly small, and they're stereoscopic because they contain two images, one for each eye. And by displaying a separate image for each eye, the impression of depth is created, so the 3D effect that you may be familiar with from a 3D cinema.
Your left eye see the left photo, and your right eye see the right photo, and then the mind do the magic. When you see the two photos, you see exactly what you usually see in the real life. So it becomes like 3D real life photo. So it's a kind of mechanism that is really sophisticated, that plays on the visual illusion between our eyes and the photos taken.
And this is an early device. This goes back to sometime the beginning of the 20th century, perhaps early 1920s. But the original patent was filed in France in 1893 by Jules Richard, who was a French inventor.
Acquired in Egypt, and people in Egypt used to look for the latest technologies in photography, especially the elite class. They were always looking for the latest technologies, and they used to buy technology and photography equipments like these.
We chose to acquire it because it's a very unusual collection of over 800 slides that came with the machine. So it's not just the machine, it's the slides themselves. And the slides are important because they record events in the time between 1913 and 1919, a very rich period in Egyptian history. And it's also a collection that's unusual in the sense that it's a collection of everyday life. Obviously, this belonged to a member of the elite, so we don't know who the person actually was, but we know that they traveled to France over the summer. They spent the summer in a very large mansion north of Paris and went to the seaside in Biarritz. So these were people who had a lot of money, obviously. But of course, they recorded Egypt as they saw it, and the everyday events that took place in Egypt at the time. So we have pictures of the very first air show in Heliopolis of 1914. We have the funeral of Dr Hussein Amin. We have pictures of the revolution of 1919. So it's a very rich collection of images that depict life in Egypt at the period.
1919 was an important moment because it was a revolution that is often not acknowledged as such. That's not acknowledged as such. There was much more to it than the demonstrations that asked for the release of the leaders of the Wafd from exile. So there were many more important elements that are often not mentioned in the dominant narrative of 1919. Now, photographs do allow us to see things that might not be mentioned everywhere. And more specifically, this collection is a collection in which you can get a sense of what was going on the streets on April 8 and April 9, which is not something that you get in the history books, or that you do not necessarily get. And more specifically, in this collection of photographs, you can see that the people who were on the streets on April 8 and April 9 were not only middle class or upper class Egyptians, but there were also women, people from marginalized strata of society. The underprivileged were also on the streets on that day. So that's an important element that is often not taken into consideration. And so the photographs give an insight into that element.
The entire collection has been digitized and is available on our digital collections online. It's actually probably the best way of viewing it because you can blow up the images to a large size and view the details in them.